This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined here with Ziyad Almaayouf, my friend Zizo, fighting on Paul Fury this week. We're going to go into everything. How are you, bro?
How's it going, Charlie? How are you doing? I've been seeing you all over the world.
All is
Look at
good,
the
my friend.
drip.
All over the world, but not quite in Saudi this week. Look, you're on a
Yeah, not this
mega
time.
card. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Eyes all over the world on it. Just first things first. When that phone rings and they tell you you're on another monumental card in Saudi Arabia, how do you feel?
It feels like a dream that you never wake up from. You know what I mean? And I said it before, and I always keep saying it. When I used to dream, when I sleep as a kid, I didn't dare go this far. So it's just very cool to be, just living this now, and it's time to work. I've put in the work, and if anyone knows me well, they know how hard I work, and it's a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but pressure is good. It gives you something to rise up to.
Zizo, the first time we spoke, I was in touch with Rachel, and she said, "Look, my boy, he was about to have his pro debut, and then it fell through at the last minute because his opponent failed a drugs test.
Yeah,
And now, what? I think we're less than 12 months on from that, and you're fighting on your second pay-per-view card. They
yeah,
say that good karma comes to those who wait, and that's certainly the case for you."
exactly. And I said this before, that I think God and the universe rewards you for how we react when we are tested. Not how we react when everything is going well and it's going good. And we took those, not only this one canceled fight, but this one was very tough to swallow because I was right there in the locker room with people waiting outside, sold about 200 tickets, all that stuff. But three canceled fights, and I just handled it, with patience, and I knew that maybe something better is in store. And like you said, we're less than 12 months from that, and look what's happening now.
Well, let's talk about last time out. Obviously, appearing on Joshua Usyk too. I was out there in Jeddah. Obviously, this time you'll be fighting in Riyadh, the capital. But just a little bit on that experience. Obviously, on such a monumental bill. One seen worldwide in terms of the heavyweight. A really, really good stoppage from you. How do you look
Yeah.
back and assess that whole week, that whole experience?
Look, honestly, I did what I experienced that week. It was nothing even close to what I had imagined could happen.
Even
I
better.
thought, yeah, much better, much better. I thought I knew the reception was gonna be good. I knew all of that was gonna happen, but I didn't know it was gonna be that good. I fell in love, and I found family even in the media and in the people working at the promotion. If it's the people who were driving us everywhere, taking us here or there, or the photo shoots, all that stuff was amazing. But to be on such a big card and to talk, specifically my performance, it was something that couldn't have been written better if I was writing it with my own hands. You know what I mean? It was good to be out there, and it was good to represent more than just boxing that night, because then I won more than just the fight. I made history being the first ever professional boxer from Saudi Arabia, and to do it internationally and to live abroad and to be brought up from the local Arab system with little to no equipment. People kind of sometimes don't believe the stories I tell them until I show them footage or pictures of what was happening. So it's a dream to be here, and I'm very humbled and grateful for it.
Look, this weekend you get yourself out again. It's another opportunity, like I say, another big card, pay-per-view, all over the world. What do you know about your opponent? What have you prepared for? Do you want to maybe get the rounds in this time around? What's going through your head ahead of fight? What's going through your head ahead of fight night?
So I always stay in the present. I always just take every day as it is. The only thing that's going through my head right now is whatever I'm feeling right now. And that is just stuff of I really want to weigh in at this point. But the opponent for this fight, speaking the fight specifically, the opponent for this fight is a tougher test. He's 3-1, and maybe this time I do really want to get the rounds. And to be honest with you, I want to get a feel more of just throwing and taking punches in 8 ounce gloves. But this is something I can't control. If it happens in the first round or in the second
Yes.
round where I knock him out, I'm not gonna say no. You know what I mean? This is
Of
something I'm
course.
out there to do. This is what I was born for. This is what I was bred for. I put on a show, and part of putting on that show for myself and for others too is to just make a statement. And there's no better way to do it than the knockout. You know, we talk about the American fighters, we talk about the European fighters, the Asian fighters, but now it's time to talk about the Arab fighters. Let's talk about the Saudi Arabian fighter, you know. So this is something I want to do. And it's chances like these where you get to silence more people, you know. I never listen to the people who are talking anyways, but you know that when you make statements, more and more people are silenced. So it gives you a little fire inside of you to rise up to that pressure. And that's what I plan on doing fight night.
Zizo, do you have a plan in the long term? Obviously, more and more is going to Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. We're seeing stuff in the UAE, and we see that they've got a really good relationship with Prince Khalid. We saw a skills challenge team out there at the Bivol Ramirez fight. Is the plan now to just be on as many cards around the world, I suppose, globally? But I know, obviously, targeting that Arab audience, that Middle East audience. Is it to stay active now and start pushing towards maybe titles in 12, 18 months?
Yeah, that is the plan, definitely. You know, the plan right now is to build slowly but surely, you know, and to go start maybe going more international, representing the country internationally on big cards and to get as much and big exposure as I can get. You know, the plan is always to be on TV at the end of the day, and that's what we aim to do. I have a perfect team around me, and Coach Buddy McGirt and my managers Rachel Charles and Paul Smith Jr. I mean, these are people who've been around boxing and they know what they're doing, and the cards I'm being put on and the exposure I'm getting right now talks for itself. You know, this is all by the grace of God before anyone else, but the team plays a huge part, and we just plan on keep doing it, and we plan on keep doing it internationally. And whenever I'm needed back home, this is where I feel like a superhero, you know. And I always say it. So this is a chance that can never be passed on. But I want to stay more active. You know, I want to keep fighting. Hopefully, no injuries that would stop me from doing that this time, and we keep going and we shoot for the stars.
Look, Zizo, a couple more from me. Just talk a little bit about your team because for a 2-0 young fighter to be managed by Rachel, who has years of experience, and obviously Paul Smith, um, and then to be trained under Buddy McGirt, you know, you've got everything that you need in order to succeed, don't you? You've got the perfect circle around you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing. Honestly, this is a whole team that's working very hard, and it's a whole team that makes their own statements, and we all know our boxing very well. You know, I sometimes your idols are just right over your shoulders, and these are who my team members are. You know, Rachel and Paul and Buddy, they're all my idols in their own ways. They all have attributes and skills where I only dream to even have a portion of those attributes when I grow up and become my own individual self. You know what I mean? So it's something it's something that I just want to keep learning from, and I keep asking a lot of questions because the business side of boxing is very important to know from a young age. And to be with Coach Buddy McGirt, he's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of
Yeah,
Famer. He's competed at the weight classes that I'm competing in exactly. Won world titles at the weight classes I'm competing in exactly. So it's perfect. It's a perfect opportunity for me to just be there and learn and pick up more from him. So the stars aligned when me and Coach Buddy linked up, of me studying him in my college dorm room years before I even knew him or met him. I
yeah,
had
yeah,
him
yeah.
mentioned on my Instagram story and all that. So it's just, I'm taking it all in. I'm humbled by it and I'm grateful for it. And I always keep reminding myself that this could be someone else be put in my shoes. And what if it was someone else? How hard would they be working? And I plan on working harder than them.
Zizo, let me ask you about Rachel. Obviously, a woman very special to me, gave me my first opportunity in the boxing world, and I know, was close with you before any of the talks of even getting shows out in Saudi was around. Now, the job she's done for us has been magnificent to say the least. How
Yeah.
special is it? Obviously, being a female out in Saudi Arabia, we know last time out, Ramla Ali made an appearance on the card, and she was the
Mm.
first female to box in Saudi Arabia. This time around there is a Saudi-born girl fighting on the card, and obviously
Yeah.
Rachel, a female manager in Saudi. Really, really showing what can be done.
Yeah, it's revolutionary. I'm trying to tell you, Saudi Arabia is in love with the idea actually, and they're in love with it. Me having a member in my team where Rachel is a woman and she's calling the shots and she's moving things around in Saudi Arabia where things are revolutionary. This is a game changer, We haven't seen much of it, if any at all. And now that's why I'm saying I'm representing more than just boxing. This team represents more than just the fight game. We're making big changes in the fighting world, in the boxing game, in the Arab world, where we are very diverse. And Rachel, to me, she's the mother in the team. She's that mother figure where I'm always just thinking that whatever could go wrong, Rachel is always going to handle it and make it right. So it's good to know that one of the biggest personalities on the Saudi Arabian fighters team is a woman, and they love to see that. They're in love with that idea, and I get a lot of questions about it, but I don't need to answer them because actions speak louder than words.
Well said, Zizo. Look, finally from me, can't not talk about the main event. Tommy
Yeah.
Fury, Jake Paul. One that's, I think if you say that you're not going to tune in this Sunday, I would say honestly you're probably lying because
Yeah.
it is just so intriguing. 8 rounds. Obviously, Tommy, part of the Fury fighting family, but Jake Paul has locked himself down in Puerto Rico for the last 4 years. He's been training with
Mhm.
the elite. How does Saturday night go, in your opinion? Do you have someone that you want to win? Do you care? Do you just want to see a good fight? What's going through your mind?
Honestly, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna finish my fight, get the knockout, God willing, and I'm gonna put one leg on the other and watch that fight go down. For me, it's a 50-50 fight, but only because the battles that both fighters are facing outside of the ring, that's what makes the fight inside of the ring. The pressure is on for both guys, in my opinion. Too many people are tuning in. The eyes of the world are on them, and it's to be honest, to be fair with you, it's a stage that both of them have never tried before, and we'd only know how ready they are fight night. So that's gonna be very cool to see.
With that being said, obviously Jake Paul has main evented in America, has done pay-per-views. Obviously, not nothing quite on the magnitude of this fight, it feels. But obviously, Tommy never fought as a main event, never headlined a
Hmm.
pay-per-view.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Fury fighting family saying that they will leave him in Saudi Arabia, etc. If he doesn't win, do you feel that obviously there is pressure there, but do you feel like maybe more of the pressure is on Tommy?
No, not at all, because I don't think the Fury family would have said that if they thought it would affect him at all. That's what people are not thinking about. At the end of the day, this is his family. They know him more than anyone else. So if they thought that Tommy has the personality where this would even affect him a little bit, they wouldn't have said it. But they said it because they know he handles the pressure. They know he's gonna go and get the job done, and that's what they're all thinking about. And this is what their mindset is floating around. So everyone that's saying, "Oh, Tyson Fury saying this and that," Fury, Tommy Fury is not going to be able to handle the pressure. You need to understand that Tyson would never say that if he thought his brother wasn't going to handle the pressure. At the end of the day, even if he hasn't been in that type of fight and magnitude himself, he's been around the whole family that did. Let me put it that way. When I was in camps, when I was training between my last fight and this one, I stayed in the Dylan White camp. I went to the Dan Aziz camp. I was around Callum Smith, and I witnessed 3 fight weeks. I felt it was my own fight week. So going into this fight week, it's my fourth fight week. You know what I mean? So you just being around that gets you really prepared
Yeah.
mentally for what's coming. You feel like you've done it before. And Jake Paul has sold out arenas and sold out, the events and pay-per-views. But at the end of the day, who are you fighting and who's standing in front of you? So the arenas are gonna sell themselves anyways, but no one's gonna be fighting for you inside that ring.
Do you think Tommy is the hardest opponent he's faced so far?
I think Tommy is the hardest opponent he's faced, definitely. Anyone who
Mhm.
says otherwise, I think, is misinterpreting what's going on here, because UFC fighters are one thing, MMA legends are another, NBA athletes are one thing as well, but some stuff that UFC fighters do in boxing, you
Mm.
know, in their boxing, in their stand-up game, we would never do. We
Yeah,
are
yeah,
just
yeah. Two
fundamentally,
completely different sports.
fundamentally much better, and where our hands go back to the same place when they left, you know, and it's just we put our punches together, all that stuff. So just like a boxer isn't gonna jump into MMA and expect to knock people out,
Yeah, yeah,
an
yeah.
MMA fighter can't jump into boxing and expect to knock people out. It's gonna be a very good fight. You know, just talk about it. There's a very big hype for it, and it's very intriguing to just know that a lot of eyes are gonna be on this. Love them or hate them, you want to know what happens and you want to see it.
Well, Zizo, thank you very much for your time. Eloquently spoken,
Thanks,
as
Charlie.
always. Lovely to speak to you. Look, to everyone watching on Boxing Social, make sure Ziyad Almaayouf, he will be on the Full Fury card this Sunday. Make sure you're tuning in. A really, really, really talented Arab prospect, like he says, managed by some of the best in the world and trained by Buddy McGirt. Can't go wrong. Zizo, final words from you, my
God
friend.
willing. No, just for everyone to tune in and everyone expect the show, and that's what I'm ready to put on.